It was a tale of two halves at the quarry, but Benfica prevailed with an early goal from Casper and late game heroics by Trubin. In Switzerland, friendly ball handling is sending Benfica to France to play the playoff for the knockout stages of the Europa League. That and much more. Another night, another podcast.
Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans. And in it, you can find our podcast, along with many other podcasts, along with articles of opinion, video segments, and much, much more. We're also on patreon.com/Benfica Independent with exclusive contents for our patrons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
São de uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero o manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado. E assustados, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Law Benfica Podcast. Merry Christmas, everyone. This is the special, well, I don't know if it's special, but it's the Christmas episode up on the eve of Christmas weekend. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Alfredo. With me, as always, Dave de Oliveira. What's happening, Dave?
What's going on, Alfredo? Great to be back. Another week, another podcast, as you said earlier, and good to be on. Positive vibes as we lead into the Christmas holidays, as you mentioned, and luckily for us, Benfica joined in on those festive spirits by delivering us 3 points this past weekend. So
yeah,
great to be on, and great to be on this Christmas special episode here.
Yeah, that's right. As you can see, all around the window, our boxes, there's little Christmas lights. Chris is not here yet. We're hoping that he could join us soon. His picture's up on the screen, but we'll try to delay things here a little bit so that give a chance for Chris to come in. So we may go a little bit off script in terms of the lineup that we have for you. On tonight's podcast, episode number 510, we will look back at Benfica's game against Braga. We'll look ahead to Benfica's League Cup game against AVS, and also the Europa League draw took place this past week, and we found out that we're going to France, which is it was a friendly draw, Dave. It was definitely a friendly draw. Could have been much worse, but I think that at the end of the day, both Braga and Benfica have to be happy with the teams that they drew.
Even Sporting too, you can throw in Sporting in that mix of getting young boys from the Champions League. I mean, there's other teams there that I would have wanted to avoid if I was in their position. So I think it favored all three Portuguese teams in this round. But favorable draws don't necessarily mean favorable results. We've seen how that played out in Champions League this year and how that's played out for us in years past. Example, Inter last year, we were all hooting and hollering that we got Inter in the quarterfinals, only to fall flat on our face. So
yeah,
step one of the draw is complete, favorable, but it's now time for the execution to follow suit.
Yeah, still gotta do it on the field. Gotta perform on the field. Let me say hello to the Freddies who are coming and join us. Diogo Reis was here first. Bruno Gil Rodrigues, Chico Marcelino, Jason Gaidola. Vamos embora, Liberal, Mike Madeira. Tony Fig, and Del Tashka. Welcome, guys. Thank you for taking the time and checking us out and being on the chat. And hope that today is an entertaining one. Chris is not here yet, as I mentioned, but he will be here soon. So, Dave, let's scramble things up a little bit. Let's start with the with AVS, right? We have the final game of the group stages of the League Cup, a competition in which we already beat Aroca? We beat Aroca, and now we have AVS. AVS has no points yet. I think they lost to Aroca.
That's correct. Yeah.
And AVS is a second tier or second division team. What are they up to? They're doing pretty good in the second division, Dave.
Let me bring that up actually, because now I'm all scrambled up here with here. But I've got here that they're a newly formed club here. You know, they were a merger between Vilafranquense and Desportivo. So no history between the two clubs as the new team that was just formed this year. Avs this current season are in second in the second division. So for a newly formed club, doing pretty well. Only 1 point behind Santa Clara with 10 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. So they might be in the first division next year if these standings hold up for the rest of the season here.
Yeah, they've been on the news as of late, not for the right reasons. So their coach is Jorge Costa. You guys remember, former Porto hardman.
The Pep before Pep.
the Pep before Pep. Yeah, if you guys remember, I think he's got his nose broken by George Weah from Milan on a European game in a tunnel. So I think that that's one more claim to fame from him. But on the news as of late, apparently he threatened a referee, told the referee to meet him outside and that he was gonna break his face, and apparently there was a recording. So he ended up being punished. So I think he's off the bench. He can't coach the team. I think I want to say there was like 9 games or something like that. It was something crazy.
He'll just be in the stands with the headpiece.
He'll be in the stands with the headpiece. Right. So yeah, at least that. But yeah, look, I think that I don't know if AVS beats Benfica, could they still qualify, or is Benfica basically done? I think there's still a chance, right?
Benfica either needs a draw. If they lose, they can't lose by more than 2, and they still get through.
Right. So I think that a loss by a few goals or a tie will definitely do it. A win will definitely do it also. But Dave, what are you thinking? Are you thinking that it's time to give some guys some rest ahead of the Christmas weekend? What do you think?
I would get some players some run in this game. I'd like to see Cabral if he's ever gonna get his mojo going. I'm surprised we didn't see him at all in the Braga game, and we'll get to that here shortly. But I think this has a Cabral game written all over it. Who else do we got there on the bench? I don't know. I'd like to see Gouveia, but I think that guy's MIA ever since
he's marked for death.
Where was he last seen? Maybe in the Surge Island there, because we haven't seen him since. And he did well, mind you. It was against a 4th division club when he came in, but I mean he did his job.
Played in Europe also. Played a few minutes in Europe against Inter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. But since then we haven't seen him, right? When we saw the glimpses of him, we came on this podcast and said, we were impressed from what we saw in the short sample sizes, but then after that, boom, he's magically disappeared and hasn't been seen or heard of since. So hopefully he gets some run in this game. If we're ever going to get Jurasek going, got to get him going in this game as well. Maybe put Moratu as a center back and rest either Otamendi or Antonio Silva. But other than that, maybe a Florentino gets a nod. I don't know if we want to go even as far to say Kingu gets some minutes as well. But for the most part, due to injuries, you can't really rotate too much of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in my opinion, I think that I think that the middle of the defense, I think there's definitely going to be changes. He's most likely going to rest Otamendi. I think he will play Antonio Silva just because Antonio Silva. Antonio Silva did play against Braga. I was thinking that he's probably going to give
He didn't play the game before.
He didn't play the game before. That's right. He's going to give some time to Araújo. I'm pretty sure, and he's gonna probably Antonio Silva and Araújo, or it might be like you said. I think it's not a bad game for Jurasek again to get another chance and to give Muratu some rest. But the whole thing with Muratu is that if he plans on staying with Muratu, he wants to give him as many reps so he gets used to the position, gets more comfortable, and I think that maybe that's where he's at. I don't know if he's going to sit Trubin and give Samu Suarez the game. I don't know. Has he played Samu Suarez in the Taça da Liga against the Roca? Can you check that out?
No,
I don't know if he has.
The
Portuguese Cup?
The Portuguese Cup in the Açores. That's where he played against. Who did he play? Lusitania.
Yeah.
That was his last action.
I think he should also give Di Maria a break. There's no reason why you want to risk Di Maria against AVS when you got Famalicão on the horizon. That game against Famalicão will be a week from this Friday on the 29th. You want to give those guys a rest. I think that up front, I think either one of those three guys would be a good choice for me. If he wants to continue giving reps to Tengsted, fine. If he wants to give Cabral a shot to start, it's fine. Musa also, I'm good. But I do think that Di Maria and Otamendi need a break. Rafa, if we want to rest Rafa, you could rest Rafa too. João Mario too. I'll probably rest.
No, we already know that Romario and Auschnitz are already there in the 11th. So
I would rest. No, I think that Auschnitz is gonna go. Auschnitz is gonna go for sure. I think that understanding right where these guys were at the end of last season in terms of how they kind of dragged themselves around. I think you're gonna need to give these guys a rest because it's a nice rest. They don't play now. Then they don't play until Friday so it's a good I want to say 8-10 days maybe between this Thursday. 6 days more or less. So 6-day rest would be pretty good, or 7-day rest, whatever. But I think he needs to go and rest some guys here. It's time to give Gouveia some burn. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with Tino and Chiquinho in the middle. Just because I think that Neves is a kid, is young, and he could run forever. But also, I think he needs a break at this point, and nothing against his performances, obviously. But the thing is that he needs some rest. He needs to keep these guys fresh, heading into a time now that that's going to be crucial for Benfica, with the transfer window also opening up in the 1st of January. There's some guys that are rumored to come. And I also wanted to mention that it looks like Veríssimo won't be coming back. Benfica. Negotiations between Benfica and what is he at right now? Is it Fluminense? Corinthians, yeah. So he's apparently his wife's already posted on social media and said "Ciao Lisboa." So that's gotta mean something. So we won't be seeing Verissimo anymore. Hopefully Benfica could capitalize and make some money. I think the figure that was being talked about was 8 million, which is nice. Which is nice for him. We had a lot of hopes for him, but I think that a lot of those hopes were shattered by his injury and how long he was off the pitch, and I think that affected him quite a bit.
What
Dave,
did we pay for him? 10?
I think it was somewhere around there. It was somewhere around
so, I mean,
there.
eight kind of recoups the cost, and
Yeah.
like you said, after the injury, because that guy was one international break away from cracking the Brazilian national team.
Yeah.
And then got injured against Braga, and then never really recuperated. Right, we went through a couple of coaching changes in the meantime, and wasn't really in favor with Roger at least. But we got to wish him all the best. And 8 million for a player that's coming off a serious injury, take it and hopefully reinvest it in other places in the squad.
Yeah, and I think you never know of a serious injury like that, how a player is going to come back. Certainly he seems to be making good strides in Brazil and is getting his feet from under him to the point that, Corinthians is now interested in signing him on a permanent. So good for him, man. I hope he does well, but I think that there was a lot of expectations from him, and it's a shame that he had to get hurt and that serious of an injury. But he was going to be Benfica's future center back, and maybe with him healthy, maybe you never see Antonio Silva, maybe you never see an Araújo. You never know, right? So everything happens for a reason, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But certainly, it's a shame that he's gone, because I think I really liked him as a player. Hugo Brito is asking, is Rafa staying or leaving? What's you guys' opinion? I would love for Rafa to be gone. I just think that Rafa has hit his ceiling. And I think that Benfica needs to move on from Rafa. I think that a contract renewal for Rafa would basically be an order to keep playing Rafa. And I don't think that Rafa has the stature, at least in my opinion, right? And everybody has different opinions, right? I don't think that Rafa is at a stature of a guy that has to play every single game, because he's frustrating as all hell. His finishing, both on the last pass or the last shot, is not great. And I think that's the inconsistencies that Rafa offers, and everybody knows. And sometimes people are okay with it, other times are not. Dave, what say you?
You don't want to know what I have to say about Rafa.
Of course I do.
These games, because we would get canceled so fast off YouTube.
These
comments might no, they're not politically correct. My comments about Rafa when I'm watching him play, that's for damn sure. But thank you for his years of service, but I can't put up with another season of Rafa, because his time to make money has gone past, right? We're never, if we sign him to usually I don't like sending players on a free because it doesn't make business sense, but in Rafa's case, he's going to want more money and he's going to demand that playing time, and we're never going to, that big money sale isn't going to come if it hasn't already come now. So he might be able to still produce in other leagues, so like we're seeing Grimaldo in this year at Bayern Leverkusen, but I think it's time to cut bait with Rafa and get some fresh blood in there.
Yeah, because I think that, like I mentioned, a renewal with him is almost like a commitment. We're going to play you now. And Tony Fig is saying, Lucas custou 6 milhões de euros ao Benfica. Yeah, if we could sell him for 8, that would be great. Let's see. Diogo Reis says Rafa was outstanding versus Braga. And Jason Gaidol is saying, if Rafa loses his speed, he's rendered useless. Yeah. And
that's all he has. He has no brains. Because, like you said, when it comes time to decision making, he's always making that wrong. I honestly, he's turning into Seferovic by the game because he's Seferovic with speed. Because without that speed, he'd be nothing. Because he has no finishing ability. He's got no ability to make the proper pass or the right decision on a pass or a shot. So frustrating because he does have that speed, and as Chris always says, you can't teach speed. So he always has that behind him. But when he has time to think, 9 times out of 10, it's the wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things that for me, I think I've had it enough with Rafa. And the thing is that at this stage in his career, he can only go down, right? And if Benfica renews, maybe it's 2 years, maybe, and one as an option, maybe if that. But he's just gonna continue to go down. I mean, we're not talking a guy that is 24, 25, 26 that still has some progression in terms of, the physical abilities. I think he's just going to have the tendency to kind of slip up in terms of his speed. The other thing is, I think that he's going to look at what contracts are being offered, and regardless of whether he gets one of those unrefusable offers from Saudi Arabia, the thing is that he's probably going to put it against, or he's going to say, hey, Rui, this is what I have. Give me at least 3/4 of this or half of this. And maybe that's how Benfica will bring him in, or re-sign him, whatever, renew him. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. For me, no. For me, it's a no. No. Cristiano, what's going on, buddy? You there? You there? How you doing? Everything okay? Yes? Tutto bene. Chris, we skipped around a little bit so we could wait for you. So we haven't even talked about the Braga game. We were just talking about the
I appreciate that. It's very kind of you guys. But I got a question. In the meantime, while you guys were waiting, did any of you remind our beautiful Freddies to smash the like button?
I saw somebody.
I'm only seeing 3 likes.
Somebody in the chat smashed the like button.
That was me. I just did it right now.
You just did it right now?
Okay, we're up to 9.
First thing I did. Chico saying I'm mute.
Yeah. You were on mute before. Now it's probably the delay. Now you should be good now. Oh, all good. See, it's all good.
In the video.
Yeah.
You gotta.
I changed it up because you got to do the things we got to do.
Wanted to catch my cousin.
When you join late, the setup needs to be fixed. And when you're there, I could set it up with you, whatever. Well, Chris, how you been, man? How's everything?
Can't even talk, bro. I've been better. I had a procedure done today in my neck. Little sore right now, but no one cares. We're here to talk about Sport Lisboa Benfica, who were back in first place for a very short time. But we were back in first place. Who would have thunk it? After back-to-back draws and so much drama at the Estádio da Luz and Benfica universe, we got to enjoy first place for a little while. Let's hope it's not the last time we enjoy. Let's hope we get to taste the top of the.
Well, I'm glad you're here so we could talk about this Braga game, right? So we'll get right into it. Benfica traveled up north to the quarry to play Braga. I'll give you the lineup. We'll get started. Trubin was in goal. Auschnes, Antonio Silva, Otamendi, and Morato across the back. João Neves and Kokshu in the middle. Di Maria on one side, João Mario on the other side. Rafa behind Casper Hengsted. Benfica getting Chris. I guess at this point, when you look at this lineup, I mean, it's it's very obvious in terms of the choices that Roger Schmidt is making. At least in
Yes
his
and
mind. In his mind.
yes and no. Yes and no. Because look, for the most part, he's been playing the same 11 over the last few weeks. But I did think, and I think I made the statement last week here on the podcast that I thought Artur Cabral, the new Birdman, I thought he was going to get the nod in this game, and obviously he didn't. He stuck with Tankstead, and it paid off. 3 minutes in,
Yeah.
Roger looked smart. But yeah, I mean, just to answer your question more directly, no, I was surprised. I was surprised. So, but everyone else, as you said, João Mario and Arsenal, you know, years past, Dave, you, self, Steve, you when he was around, and plenty of other guests that we've had here to join us on the podcast over the years, we'd often say, man, I don't know what it is, but Andrea Almeida, you must have some photos of Rui Vitoria. You know what I mean? Some incriminating. And now I think João Mario has some incriminating photos of Roger Schmidt.
I don't know.
I'm sorry?
I don't know. It's possible.
It's possible. But, those two are going to play. Koksu's back in there. I was surprised in a game like this you didn't see Atino from the start. But I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Al Musrati, who I believe, Dave, you probably know better than I do.
Injured.
But it's probably, the second game in a row that Benfica has played Braga and Al Musrati has pulled up lame within a few days or hours of or like the day before.
Give me some time. I'll take a look
Yeah,
at that.
I know he didn't play
just
the game,
go.
obviously. I think the last game he didn't play. So Roger Schmidt probably opted, for Neves and obviously Neves at this point, first guy on the list. But Neves and Koksu, maybe he felt he didn't need the muscle of Atino in a game like this. But yeah, I mean, from everything else, again, it's relatively what we're accustomed to seeing. Alfred, the only surprise to me is, as I told you before, was I thought Cabral would have gotten the nod.
Yeah. No, I mean you could have made an argument. I think we spoke about that last podcast, meaning he had Tankstead had that crucial game against the Lagartos, and he ended up starting from there on. With Cabral getting a crucial goal against Salzburg, maybe we felt that maybe now it's Cabral passou a porta, agora ele montou-se. But that wasn't the case, and I agree with Jason Gaidolin saying Tankstead is our best bet right now. Younger player makes good runs, appears to have a good touch. I don't know about the touch. I think the touch still needs some improvement. But he's certainly, out of these three guys, he's the one guy that is the most similar to Gonçalo Ramos. And
I think he's the most informed at the moment, Alfredo. Most informed. And again, his form, he scored a goal. It's nothing spectacular, because I think Musa's got those qualities that Gonçalo Ramos added to. I think Musa probably works harder than the Tankstead. That's why I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I don't. I disagree. I think the Tankstead works a lot harder.
I'm well, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of Musa, and I'm not the biggest fan of a Tankstead. I thought you go back to the first half. This Braga game, there was times where Benfica could have countered, and he doesn't have the quality away from the box. Not that he has great quality in the box, but I think his feet are limited in what he can do. And look, man, not to sit here and shit on anybody, I'm ecstatic we got the 3 points at the end of the day. He scored 3 minutes in. Credit to him. I don't know what that defender was doing. He was defending the outside rather than inside. Thank you, appreciate it. But it's not the right time to say this, but I think that Benfica's number 9 is not yet on this team.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you, and that's something that we've been clamoring even since last season. We always felt that if we had a Matador on the team last year, that we could have gone further in Europe, especially. But now we're all here, man. I wish Gonçalo Ramos had never left. But getting right into the game, early goal by Benfica, as Cristiano mentioned, on a forced turnover by by Benfica. Koksu found Tankstead streaking, went through on goal, 1-on-1 with the goalie, put it away like a good forward supposed to do it, now like Rafa. And Benfica was off to a flying start. I thought this first half, Benfica could add a couple of the goals. I thought that was one of the better halves I've seen Benfica play this season. I thought that Braga was a little bit unrecognizable, and I think that that Benfica forced Braga to play a little bit out of their own style, and I think that was one of the key differences in that first half. But Benfica had a very good first half. The second half, not so much. We knew that that Braga was going to come at us, trying to claw back that goal, and so they did. And it was one of those halves that you're watching and you're almost feeling anxious, you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling that at any time Braga can get a goal, and then Trubin shows up. You already had a great save in the first half, but he showed up big with at least 3 good saves in the second half. That one in the dying minutes of the second half with his toe. Balance to the other side, has the presence of mind and the reflexes to reach out with his right foot to be able to put a foot on the ball. And the ball, Cristiano and I were talking about this. The ball hit his foot, and it was almost like in slow motion. And we're sitting there, and we're like, man, I hope that ball doesn't end up in goal. And it sure enough, it went away. But what a performance by Trubin. I think that all the doubters, I think he's finally put any doubts to rest. Look, still a young keeper. He's going to make mistakes that young keepers make. Doesn't have the experience yet, but in terms of the technical ability, the feet, it's all there. And I think that looking at this game and how Braga pressed really high, especially in the first half, and having Trubin back there, being able to distribute the ball, to be able to hit a guy at the halfway line or behind that first line of pressure, I think that says a lot, because in the past, Vlaco Dimos would have just booted the ball, and now it becomes a 50-50 ball that we have to win.
No, in the past, Alfredo, past, it was you that I spoke to about this. I think we had a conversation about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. In the past, his teammates wouldn't have even gone back to him. So forget about him booting it. And like I told you on the phone the other day, because you mentioned the outlet passes and whatnot, and I said, man, me, my dumb self, right, in my own cabeza, I don't really care about the outlet passes for a goalkeeper. I care about a guy that can control a ball, that could alleviate pressure when the opposition is pressing. My center backs, my outside fullbacks, whatever it is, they could go back to him, and now it opens up space. It could breathe a little bit, and he's able to pick another guy out. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is crucial, and we did not have that with our previous goaltender. I've been screaming for this change for 4 years now, if not more, and we finally got it. And the kid obviously looked nervous, but he's also made some big time saves, and I think this game answered a lot of his critics. He showed that he could play at this level. And one thing about a kid like Trubin that I think we were, not myself, but when I say we, Benfica, some of us were very unfair to the kid. When he made the couple mistakes he did at the beginning of the season, you have to keep in mind, this is not a kid coming, at 22 years old from Argentina or Brazil, Italy, Spain. We're talking about a kid that's coming from a war-torn country. His family members are there. It's hard for the kid to focus. You know what I mean? Like, give him a little time to adapt. And in the meantime, he's put up some spectacular performances, and none bigger than this week. I mean, he kept us in the game. That one shot by Banza in the 90, whatever the hell it was, 93rd, 94th, I thought it was done. And he's able to stick out his toenail, gets to the ball. Dave, And then in total Benfica torture, the ball is like making a decision. Certain, like,
Trickling.
am I going out of bounds? Am I gonna go inside? Is the spin gonna like? Hey, bro, it's like, could you just like decide, do something? But I was like slow motion, and it's like, man, it couldn't have been any more torture. But luckily, he found a way to keep him out, to keep the ball out of the goal.
Yeah.
And I think he was even talking to his right foot. I don't know if you guys saw the one part where he was talking to his foot, like, I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, man, this is what a real goalkeeper does. This is what a goalkeeper that makes saves when the balls aren't shot directly at him. These are the type of performances you're going to see. We grew accustomed from the Varelas to Varela, right? Was his name?
Yeah.
The Frango?
Yeah. No, we've grown accustomed from Varelas to Vlaco Dimos to these guys that they don't make the difficult save look ordinary, and this guy does.
Yeah.
And I know Vlaco Dimos had some big saves. Look,
He's a big boy, too.
Vlaco Dimos had some big saves as well, but a lot of the thing is, like, if the ball was shot, 2 feet to his side, it was like, forget it, he wasn't going to get it. And now we have a goalie that's saving us points, that's scoring us points. And at the end of the year, you add them all up. That's how you get campeonato.
Yeah. No, look, it's like Chris says. He made there's always something that I look for a goalie, and I've never played goalie, nor do I know a lot of things about the position, right? I know the basics, but there's something that Ruben has in terms of his body language that I kind of, when I look at him, Ederson used to have like the facial expressions almost don't change. They're just like, all right,
bored? Like,
yeah,
bored?
yeah,
Oh,
okay, yeah.
okay.
I made that save. While Vlaco Dimos just used to have these facial expressions that you knew the guy had just shit his fucking pants.
He couldn't believe he did it. His expression, like, what the fuck did
Yeah,
I do?
he was just like a deer in the headlights, man. And Trubin is just like, he's making his saves. He's a big boy. He's got a big reach, right? He could get up. But just like
Jason Gaidola is stealing my thunder here on the chat. He says you can't teach 6'6". I've always told you can't teach size and speed. Jason, stop stealing my thunder.
No, that's right. But it's just like you look at the guy, and the guy's like stone cold. It's like just another day at the office for this guy. But it's just like having a keeper with feet that could get past those guys that come and press your center backs, that come and press your fullbacks, and now you got to find the target in the midfield in between lines, and he's able to do that. I think that just makes a world of difference, because now you just eliminated 3 guys that were up front to press you. Now you just got behind their back, and now you could build. You could go forward and build, and I think that just makes a world of difference. And when we used to have Vlaco Dimos used to punt that shit into the sidelines, behind the benches, to the fans, like a souvenir ball from Vlaco Dimos every time. So yeah, I'm happy, and it's just like I don't think anybody else is questioning Trubin at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of Benfica.
Still.
Íamos ter muita falta para Vlaco Dimos. But look, to move on, we've stroked Trubin enough. I think there's other guys on this team who deserve some credit. Benfica in the first half was countering. I don't think Benfica had much possession, but every time they broke through, it seemed like, bro, it was half a goal. They're in the post, or it was just a great scoring opportunity after great scoring opportunities, even though Braga had most of the possession. And then in the second half,
that João Mario miss, man. I lost my shit.
I know what, I forgot
about that.
Yeah, no, I talked about it with Alfredo the other day, Dave. But right now, as I'm sitting here, I forgot about it. But yeah, thanks Alfredo for fucking it up. But yeah, in the first 3 minutes again, Benfica scored 3 minutes into the first half, and then in 3 minutes into the second half, it could have definitely been game over. Mateus is laying on the floor, and I think it was it Di Maria or I don't forget who it was that sets him up across the six.
Rafa.
All he has to do is just encostar o pé, put it on goal. Anything but the goalie laying on the floor.
Dude,
passes it. He passed it.
I'll tell you a story. Go ahead, Chris. I'll let you finish. I'll tell the story.
Go ahead, tell the story.
No, I'll tell you the story, because I was in my living room, I was watching it with my mother-in-law, who's comes and spends the winters with us here from Portugal, and I'm sitting there, and she supports me. Not a big soccer fan, but she supports me, and we're just sitting there. And throughout the game, I'm usually quiet, or she'll ask me a question, and I'll explain an aspect of the game to her, and we're just sitting there, and I'm like, my eyes got big when I saw the ball go across, and I knew João Mari was going over there, and when he misses it, I was like, for this. And she just like gave me this look. She just looked at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, but it was like one of those outbursts. And then she just like started cursing at the guy too with me, because I guess she realized what had happened. But it was just like an outburst, a big fullest outburst from my mouth, that I think caught her a little bit by surprise, but she knew exactly where I was coming from, because at that point, and that was early, that was 48th minute of the second half. If João Mari puts that away, I think the game takes a different complexion. I think that Braga still comes at us, but at this point, with a 2-game cushion, we're always going to be a little bit more comfortable on the ball, a little bit more confident. Not that we were. I thought that there was periods that we relinquished the ball to Braga because we knew they were going to come at us, and we just kept cleaning things up. It was a little bit too anxious for me in terms of the way Benfica was playing, and I always felt that there was something coming, that there was a goal from Braga coming. But the team just looked confident in the back, and regardless of us having two fullbacks that are adapted to the position, Bruma on one side that could do damage, we handled it pretty well. A lot of crosses into our box, our center backs clearing those balls. I thought we did pretty well, and I think that at the end of the day, when you walk away from this game, it's a deserved result. I thought that the result could have been 2-3, at least 1 for Braga. I don't think that it's the result is better than the performance, because I thought that.
Peraí, journalists. I mean, what are you trying to stir up? What are you trying to do here, Alfredo?
No, I thought that the performance in the first half warranted more goals. The second half wasn't as productive, but certainly if we put away that goal by João Mari, which is more than Tanksted's clear chance. I mean, the ball came across, the keeper is coming across, he passes it to the keeper. The keeper was already on the ground.
Dave, if that game was being televised on ESPN, and you know how they do the goal scoring chance, right? You know what I mean? Percentage, probability, whatever it is. What do you think it would have been flashing on the screen as he's running?
At least 90. You got to be 90 plus.
It would have been goal probability 90 plus flashing across your screen, right? Easy.
Yeah. Yep.
That's lost on me.
But Alfredo, look, I agree with everything you said, but let me just finish what I was saying before. Because as I said in the first half, there's plenty of opportunities. Benfica made it look easy on the attacking side, even though I didn't like the fact that they were giving up the ball a lot, right? Braga, in my opinion, had more possession. But Benfica was able to do more with the ball than Braga did. So, I was content, right? Everybody was playing. Well, Rafa looked like my man was actually trying to make a case to be back on the Portuguese national team for once. He looked spectacular. But in the second half, aside from that one chance that we just spent a few minutes talking about, João Mario, I'm pretty sure it's happened, and I've told you this on the phone, and I just want to repeat it here. I'm pretty sure it's happened. I just may not remember it right now, but don't recall the last time Benfica was up against the ropes for a good 45 minutes, because, again, you got to add extra time, right? 45 to 50 minutes. I mean, that was just on Barman after. It was just for the weak-hearted, it might have been tough to watch this game. I don't recall Benfica suffering that bad. But look, that being said, credit to them. I thought Kwaksu and little João Neves, you barely even noticed these guys in the game, but they did everything they had to do. They sacrificed to be in the right place and defend. Koksu's not a guy that when you think of him, you don't think of defending. That's not the first thing that comes to your mind, even though he obviously showed that he could do it. João Neves is one of those guys, polyvalent, that my man is a box to box. There's nothing a little kid can't do. But everyone sacrificed. João Mario, who obviously had that tap in. Have we said he had a tap in that he could have scored? Have we mentioned that yet? He could have put this game away 3 minutes into. But João Mario sacrificed. João Mario busted his ass. It seemed like as the game wound down, like the minutes trickled off the clock, Moratu tucked into the middle a little bit more, and kept leaving the outside over. And João Mario was the guy making those runs and sacrificing. And then it was just ugly to watch because Benfica would work their hearts out to get possession of the ball.
Yeah.
And then it was like 25-yard put the pep front because we have nobody open. There was no threat. There was no just like kick it and set up against the defense, kick it, set up to the fence. And I know you guys were talking, and this is the last point, I promise, I'll be quiet. You guys were talking about Signore Rafa when I finally was able to jump in here with you guys tonight. And if you go back and watch the second half, I know Alfredo, you were saying you were done with him. I've been done with Rafa for the most part. But unless Benfica changes coaches, right? And I'm not trying to start no more coaching controversy. We've had enough for the past few weeks. But unless Benfica changes coaches or they go out and actually nail their summer transfers, because we know they haven't hit on any lately. But if they actually hit on them and get these guys to come in and be top-notch performers, Rafa is a guy, man, and you saw it in that second half. Once Rafa was substituted, Braga just pushed up even more. They were high line. They suffocated Benfica in their own half. Benfica had no threat. As I mentioned, we'd work our asses off to get the ball back, and there was no threat. And Rafa did not respect anybody on the field. They didn't respect anyone's speed once Rafa was out. So I'm mentioning that because I've been a guy that's on the Rafa out guy. But again, if Rafa's going to play like he played in that first half, I kind of feel like we have to sign him. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you can tell it's a totally different team. Yeah, he's not on the field, man.
It's one performance in 25 games. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, and maybe this explains a little bit of the Rafa, right? At times Braga was pushed up really high because they were trying to they high press Benfica. So every time that Rafa got the ball, there always seemed to be space in front of him to make those runs and clear lanes that he could run into. And I think that was the biggest difference was the fact that Braga didn't play through the middle as much, and they opened themselves in a back. At some point, the game was just end-to-end type of stuff in the first half. And I thought that this was a perfect game for Rafa because it's one of those games that he could get behind the defense and just take off and nobody's going to catch him. He had that a couple times. He also had that goal that he was offside that it chipped over the goalie, and it was a great.
That's his greatest finish. That's one of those things. That's one of those, when we go to the guys, like whoever signs them this offseason, if we don't, right? Whoever signs, they're going to go to the YouTube video to see because they all look great on YouTube. Whoever's
the
doing
offside
the
goal
on Rafa's video, you got to throw that one in. You have to. That's his greatest finish.
It's going to be in his highlight reel?
Guys, I have to be brutally honest with you. When he shot it, I was expecting it to go over the net. I swear to God. I
had to double take. I thought it did go over and it hit the net from behind.
Dave, I swear. I was like, what? I'm like, who did that? Yeah, that was phenomenal. And then he misses shit inside the 6 in front of the goalie 1-on-1.
Yeah, it was just like a weird thing. He definitely had a game, but again, teams that play against Rafa, if you limit the space that he has to run with the ball, then you basically taking him out of the game. And I thought that Braga, I didn't think they had the strategy in the first half right. And a reflection of that is the substitution that he made. He still in the first half, I think 30-something minutes he brought in one of the Horta brothers to basically change things, and I thought that Braga were better in the second half because of that. But look, I think at the end of the day, 3 points at the Pedreira are 3 points, especially with the way Braga has been playing this year. They've been consistent. They have depth. They have a mixture of veterans and young kids in that team. They're missing a few pieces in the defense, but I think that overall they got a lot of creative players and they got a lot of firepower up top, with Banza being the top scorer of the Portuguese league, obviously. But I thought that 3 points were really good 3 points, especially in the eve of Porto playing Sporting. So you want to make sure that you get max points from your game. But look, at the end of the game, at the end of the day, and I'll segue to you, Dave, in terms of stats. We've played Sporting, Porto, and Braga, and we've beaten all three.
All three. We've also, if you want to include Guimarães in there too, because they're the other team in the top 5 at the moment. So we've picked up all 4 wins against the other 4 remaining big clubs, not including ourselves there. So before I get into the stats, I mean, if you would have asked us last week if we came out with 3 points and a clean sheet against the league's top goal scoring team, I think we would have all signed up for that. So it wasn't a performance where, if you're expecting to see 4, 5, 6 goals out of a Benfica, that's not the performance that was given
in the first half.
Could have
Yeah.
been
A little bit more aim and luck.
It wasn't, but this was one of those performances where you bring your lunch bag and your lunch pail to work. It's not necessarily pretty work, but at the end of the day, it got the job done, and we got the 3 points. So you don't necessarily get style points, and style points may look nice on the scoreboard, but they don't necessarily win you championships. But I feel like this was a real championship performance here. Not to say that it's gonna happen, but at the end of the league, you might look back at this game here. But
just
go ahead.
Before you go to the stats, to add to what you guys were talking about, beating the 3 big teams or 4 big teams, whatever. In the matchups last year against Porto, Benfica, and Braga, Benfica were able to notch 8 points. 6 games? Now, so far through 3, there's 9 points. We already conquered 1 more point than we did last year. Just 3 games in. So, it was ugly, but at the end of the day, these types of games, you take it. And normally, as you guys know, I'm one that comes on and bitches about a whole lot. And I like when my team puts on a show, and I like when they play attractive football. But I think watching that game and considering our level throughout most of the season, let's be fair, Benfica is not hitting on all cylinders. Our form has not been great. And so when you take all of that into consideration, how could you not be happy with this result? I mean, Benfica's not playing well. That first half, again, they created plenty of chances, but like I said, Braga had the ball, wasn't dominating. It wasn't as dominating as the chances might have thought it was. You know what I'm trying to say, guys? But due to the fact that things have not been smooth, I mean, it is what it is. You take it. It's another 3 points in the bag. A very tough game on the road against a team that is playing spectacular, throughout most of the season. As you mentioned, Dave, number 1 in goals. Yeah, man, and you just hope that you keep racking up these points, and at some point, start getting into rhythm. At some point, maybe now in January, they do go out and get a left back. By the way, Alfredo and Dave, as you guys know, I did it for free. I gave Benfica some advice last year in the last podcast of last season when I suggested they should go sign none other than Ruben, and now everyone's happy with Ruben. So now I'm gonna do another suggestion.
Go ahead.
Hopefully they're listening. Go get Valentin Barco at Boca Juniors. Left back, could actually play on the wing as well, but left back answers all your questions. You could forget about Jurasek Bernat. You could send his ass back to Paris, right? How we maybe we start assembling what looks like a real defense, and then we start hitting some type of form. And again, if we're racking up points playing this way, imagine if this team is able to turn the corner and start actually putting some performances together. The sky's the limit. So
Yeah.
let's go. Make it happen.
Dave, that's so we can move on to the last topic of the night.
Yeah, first time since September that Benfica has had 3 consecutive victories. So that just goes to show how our season's been shaping up so far. And Roger versus the big 4 here, the other big 3. 6 wins, 3 draws, 2 draws in 11 games against Braga, Sporting, and Porto. Seems to be showing up in these big matches.
Yeah. All right, so a win is a win. And despite Sporting going past Christmas in first place, we're right there. Could have been a lot worse, but I'm good. Good. Next up, well, not next up, but wanted to talk about the Europa League draw that took place this past week. That Benfica found out that they're going to travel to the south of France to play Toulouse. Toulouse as opposed to very tight, Cristiano.
Oopa.
We're not going to lose.
So, I mean, that was the draw, right?
You guys Maluk.
From what I gather, going on Twitter a little bit, which I barely go on it these days. I need to make a comeback, by the way. I was starting to feel guilty because I thought Benfica was putting up bad results because I haven't been tweeting. So I'm glad that they got a result without me tweeting. Obviously, it's not me, so I can stay away from Twitter. But the very little that I did go on, I saw a lot of Benfiquistas saying that Toulouse away would have been a great city, venue, whatever. And so everybody wanted Toulouse. So now we got Toulouse. So we got nothing to lose. Just go out there and play our best game, and hopefully João Mário scores another hat trick.
Yeah, I think Toulouse is like 15th right now in the league.
Yeah, 17th, like that.
Yeah, they're not doing too well. But strange things have happened. First game takes place on the February 15th, so a day after Valentine's Day. The second leg, which will be away, will be played on the 22nd of February. This is a playoff round. The second place teams of the group stages in the Europa League will play the third place teams from the Champions League, and then from there, I think there will be another draw. I know there will be another draw that now will include all the first place teams in the group stages of the Europa League that will be drawn together. So we'll just have to see, but certainly very friendly drawing for Benfica this time around. I think that Dave and I already spoke about this, that Braga and Benfica had favorable draws. Sporting is also favorable, but anything can happen Sporting after you cross that Christmas boundary.
Sporting is playing Michael Jackson's favorite university. Brigham Young. Oh no, that's Young Boys.
Young Boys.
Yeah, bring it to. I try to make. I forgot to change it to Europe. Yeah, whatever. You guys get the truth. Alfredo, when you edit this, right?
I'm not gonna
Add the
edit.
laughing track.
I was looking for the crickets. The crickets side effect, but nothing is loading here today. Oh, there you go. You have it, Chris.
That works.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see. From here until February, there's going to be lots and lots that will happen. So we'll just have to see, but certainly encouraged by the draw. All 4 top teams in the Portuguese league currently will be involved in European competition. Will most likely Porto having drawn Arsenal in the round of 16 in the Champions League, most likely going out after that first that game. But maybe they'll pick up somebody that will revolutionize their game, and they'll be able to compete with Arsenal. Who knows? But that's about it. Cristiano, you got anything else since you joined us late? I'll give you the microphone for a little bit, since you haven't spoken a lot today.
Guys, thank you very much for waiting. Appreciate the Freddies once again.
Yeah.
Benfica, hey, it's good to see Benfica win games at all costs. Much rather be here talking about a victory, ugly victory, than a pretty loss, pretty defeat. So
Yeah.
bum spot. A couple games in a row with a victory. So start. Every time I say this, guys, I mean, if you guys recall last time I said Casa B is the perfect, we're starting to string these victories together, and then I hope I'm not jinxing it, but yeah, let's bring some victories together. Let's get the confidence in the boys. Let's get some of these boys healthy. I don't understand how Artur Cabral, again, didn't even play. I'm just, I don't know. I think at this point it's kind of like, it's spilled milk. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was surprised. I was surprised he didn't start. I was surprised he didn't play. I was surprised he didn't feature. But there's more games, and so
he might get his chance against AVS.
What's AVS?
It's a
Is
fusion.
that
It's
is
a
like-
fusion
like
between
the old-
Villa Franquish.
Villa Franquense.
Yeah.
Okay, because Avs folded. That's why I'm at.
Avs
That's why I'm like, what
folded,
the hell is
yeah.
AVS? Avs
It's a
folded. It
it's a
went
fusion
bankrupt.
between Aves and Villa Franquense from your homeboy's town, Hugo Freire. Villa Franquense.
Oh, don't.
Keys is that?
It's at home too, right?
Yeah, it is. It is at home. It is at home.
Yep.
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday. This Thursday. 8 8:15.
PM local.
8:15 local.
Local.
Yeah, 8:15. 8:15 local at Stade de Luz. So we already spoke about it. We said that there might be some, but I think that he would do good
Should be.
to
João
rest
Mario and Arsenal
Otamendi
play,
and Di
right?
Maria.
Or João Mario and Arsenal.
First
play.
names on the sheet. João Mario and Auschwitz. And Rafa. Anyway, that's all we really got. Right, we're right before Christmas, right? So wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday if you celebrate
For sure.
Christmas, if you celebrate Hanukkah.
Send money to the podcast account. Send me my Venmo. Yeah, all Christmas gifts are welcome.
That's right. No, I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I hope that everybody has a good time. Enjoy your families. If you have young kids, Christmas is usually about the young kids. If you have older relatives, make sure you cherish them, because you never know when the last time is going to be that you'll get to spend the Christmas with them, and certainly a year is a long time to go until next Christmas.
Are we doing this next?
They've asked me, so I don't know. We might do it. It'll be
Depends how generous they are with the Christmas gifts, right?
it'll be on the yeah, exactly. It'll be on the 26th of this December, so the Tuesday after Christmas Day. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll
Yeah.
see how much milk and cookies Santa eats, then we'll go from there.
Right.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Love you guys. Even you, Diogo.
Even you, Diogo.
A Merry Christmas to all you guys. And
Merry
your family,
Christmas.
man. Thank you for all the support. We love doing this for you guys.
Yeah, of course.
As annoying as that may sound at times, I appreciate you guys. Giving me a few minutes to fill your head with nothing. And so appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dave, Alfredo, Merry Christmas. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Talk soon, man. Carrega Benfica.
Brunjil, salut, mon ami. Joyeux Noël. I think I'm saying that right. Maybe not.
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël. Yeah, something like that.
Enjoy your Noel. Yeah,
Enjoy your Noel. Enjoy, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe, and we'll see you again next week. We'll figure it out. We'll make it known.
We must do a fan forum soon.
Who says
Last
that?
time nobody wanted to come on.
Yeah, Shiku. Yeah, Shiku. If you promise you'll come, we'll do it.
He did, didn't he? Wasn't he on last time?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Bruno.
Gil Rodrigues and a couple other fellas came on.
Yeah, but we'll listen. I'll gladly give up my microphone for you guys
Yeah.
to come on the podcast.
Let's do it. Let's do a forum. So if you guys are listening to this, whether you're listening to this live or you're listening to this
Send us a DM. You got to register.
on
You
the
gotta- we're
audio,
gonna
you,
put
you got to register. We got to get at least 5 or 6 people that are interested in coming on. Other than that, we're not gonna. We're just gonna sit here at Time Shit Chorizos while people decide whether they want to come or not. And Diogo Reis, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, but it's only if you agree with me. Don't come on the podcast not to, to agree, to disagree with me. It's only to
That could
agree.
be tough, man. That could
Those
be
are the
tough.
rules. Those are the rules. House rules.
That could be tough. All right, bye. So let's then plan on being here next week for an open forum. Give everybody their opinion, and no worries. You don't have to be on camera. If you want to be on camera, you could be on camera. You don't have to be on camera. It could just be audio. You could do it from your phone. Everybody's phone has Zoom. We'll get the Zoom call, whatever. Merry Christmas, everyone. Enjoy yourselves, and take care.